I think I know where you are right now. I mean, sure, physically, you might be sitting in a room, maybe on a train, but mentally, you're miles away, aren't you? You're analyzing everything. The tiny expressions on someone's face, the historical baggage behind some throwaway comment, maybe even the structural integrity of the building you're in. You're here, but you're also somewhere much, much deeper. And then, bam, someone asks you that. It's the question that just yanks you back to the surface, right? And you probably just, you smile and say you're tired. Because really, how in the world do you even begin to explain what's actually going on in your head? And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? It's this feeling that you're operating in a completely different element, like you're living in this deep, rich, complex world underwater. And it's almost impossible to describe to people who are just happily walking around on the surface. So let's dive into what is really going on. If you recognize this feeling, trust me, you are not alone. Having a mind that just refuses to shut up isn't just some cute little personality quirk. Let's be real, sometimes it feels like an absolute curse. Okay, so what does it actually mean to be living underwater in a world that's, well, built for the surface? Our culture loves to say it celebrates intelligence and deep thought, but the reality? Society is built for speed. This right here, this shows the fundamental problem we're all dealing with. Society is basically optimized for speed. It wants quick reactions, simple answers, small talk. But your mind is optimized for depth. It wants to do a deep analysis. It wants to take ideas apart and see how they work. So when the world asks you for small talk about the weather, it's not that you can't do it. It's that it feels like a painful waste of resources. It's like asking a supercomputer to calculate 2 plus 2 over and over again. So, let's get into the why. Why does your mind work this way? What's actually happening under the hood that makes you so different? It's time to take a look at the mechanics of your own personal thinking machine. Okay, check this out. This is the core difference in how you process the world. Most thinking is pretty linear, It's a straight path from point A to B to C. It's clean, it's efficient. Your mind, though, works a lot more like a web. One single idea, let's call it A, doesn't just lead to B. No, it explodes into this massive network of connections, B, C, D, all the way to Z, and it happens all at once. There's actually a name for it, arborescent thinking. It literally means tree-like. And it's the very reason you see all these patterns and connections that are totally invisible to other people. It's the source of your most brilliant insights, but it's also exactly why you feel so overwhelmed all the time. You're not just processing this one moment. You're processing its past, its potential future, and its entire web of context all at the same time. And here's the thing, this depth isn't just logical, it's intensely emotional. A lot of deep thinkers are also what psychologists call highly sensitive people. This means you don't just hear about someone's bad day, you feel like you're mentally living it with them. You walk into a room and you can instantly feel the vibe. The unspoken tension between two people feels like it's humming inside your own body. You're not antisocial, you just get emotionally saturated and you need some quiet time to wring it all out. But it's not all fun and games and Sherlock Holmes level brilliance, is it? No, there's a very real and often very difficult dark side to being wired this way. And its name is anxiety. Yeah, that amazing ability to see all those branching possibilities, it is a serious double-edged sword. Because for every one positive outcome you can imagine, your mind has this fun little habit of generating 17 ways it could all go horribly, horribly wrong. You end up constantly running these what-if simulations in your head, and that, my friend, is a direct flight to Anxiety City. And this leads to something called analysis paralysis, which can make the absolute simplest decisions feel agonizing. Let's take ordering a coffee. For you, it's not just, I'll have a latte. Oh no. You're analyzing the options, weighing the cost versus the caffeine content, the possibility of discovering a new favorite versus the deep, soul-crushing disappointment of a bad cup of coffee. You literally calculate the potential for future regret until your brain is just fried and you blurt out, I'll just have the usual. Sound familiar? The social cost of all this can be huge. You've probably been called intense or too much at some point in your life. So over time, what do? You learn to make yourself smaller. You hold back your real thoughts. You simplify your feelings. You dim your own light so you don't overwhelm people. And that, right there, can be the absolute loneliest feeling in the world. But listen, that is not the end of the story. Not even close. Because if you can learn to manage the anxiety, that exact same trait, the one that causes all the overwhelm, is not a curse. It is your undeniable superpower. I want you to really let that sink in. The very thing that causes you so much trouble is also the source of your greatest power. You are a natural-born strategist. This is your toolkit. Your mind's ability to see that entire web of connections means you see patterns before anyone else does. You can practically predict future outcomes. You're the one in the meeting who sees the fatal flaw in the big plan that everyone else is excited about. People might call you a pessimist at first, but they usually stop when you turn out to be right. And let's be honest, you're almost always right. And this is why small talk feels so painfully empty to you. You demand authenticity. You crave real, deep connection. And when you finally find someone who can meet you out there in that deep water, the connection you forge is profound. It's unbreakable. You were never meant for the shallow end. You were built for the ocean. So, if you are just exhausted from constantly overthinking everything, the answer isn't to try and shut your brain off. It's to learn how to embrace its incredible power and just manage its intensity. Look, trying to turn your brain off is never going to work. It's like owning a high-performance racing engine and trying to drive it like a golf cart. It's just going to sputter and stall and make a lot of noise. So what do you do instead? You learn to manage the engine. You give it what it needs. You give it big, complex, meaningful problems to solve. So it doesn't just sit there idling, chewing on its own anxiety. And this right here is the most important thing I can tell you. Stop apologizing for being intense. Stop apologizing for feeling things so deeply. Stop apologizing for seeing what other people miss. Your depth is not a flaw that needs to be fixed. So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. The world has more than enough people who are perfectly happy just skimming the surface. What it desperately needs are the ones like you, the ones who aren't afraid of the depths, the ones who are willing to dive.